Hi, my name is Jay Oza, and I want to talk about public speaking and what makes a public speech work. And I talking about this because I learned something interesting recently listening to this podcast that Michael Port has called Steal the Show, and he had as his guest Seth Godin, who is well known. He's a author, a speaker, a thought leader, entrepreneur, and I'm sure some other things too. And he said something very interesting. In a way, it's kind of obvious, but the way he said it got me to think more about this. And what he said is that if the audience already knows you, you have a tremendous advantage. And he gave some percentages like 80 to 90% is that. And he should know because Seth Godin is a great speaker and he's really one of the top speakers you're going to find. And he's really well sought after at conferences and stuff. What he's talking about is ethos, obviously. If you go back to the Aristotle's ethos, logos, and pathos, right? Ethos is your credibility, logos is the logic, and pathos is the emotional aspect of your speech. But the question that I started asking myself is I'm not as well known as Seth Godin. What do I do? How do I get that ethos? It's not going to be possible. Do I even have a chance? Like, is my speech already doomed before I even utter a single word or before even I get on the stage? They'll be like, who's this guy, Jay Ozo? We don't know him. Let's not. Those are the people who, some people may just skip the talk completely. And the ones who are polite and saying, I'm getting paid, I might as well attend. They might attend, but then they will tune me out quickly because they don't know me. So what do I do? I have a suggestion, and I want to know what you think about this. I think a speech comes down to three parts. And these three parts are very important. And I think the first two are really the most important. And the third one is important, but that's the one we end up spending a lot of time. So the first one is likability. You got to be likable. If the audience doesn't like you, you're doomed. The second one is they have to trust you. If they don't trust you, you're doomed. If you're likable, if they trust you, then they'll listen to what you have to say. But we spend most of our time on the third part, which is the speech. But we never ask ourselves that when we're speaking, are we likable? Can they trust us? If you don't get somebody to give that feedback to you, hey, you come across as a real likable person, I can trust you, they'll listen to you. So, what do? How do you become likable? I'm not sure I have all the answers here in this video, but obviously, you can start with some self deprecating humor. You can say something you observed that makes people kind of like it's almost like if you are meeting a stranger and you want to have a conversation, you don't just go and start giving your speech to that person, right? You start ease into it. So you have to start ease into it. So it could be like once somebody introduces you, you're saying, I want to just share something that I just saw, or something that you just made an observation that they can relate to. You have to be relatable. There has to be something that you and the audience have in common. It could be something that happened in the morning, something about the conference, or let's say if you were on the fourth or fifth speaker, then something earlier speaker, something that the speaker has said that you can bring up and make a comment on it. So they know that, hey, the whole point of it is that they have to like you. The other thing is that you have to establish your credibility as a speaker. Get that out of the way quickly. Because until you get those two things out of the way, your speech is not going to resonate. Even though you may have done a masterful job preparing for it, crafting it, they just can't relate to you. I'll give you a good example of a speech that I think is one of the best speeches out there. Is Bill Clinton when he nominates Barack Obama at the 2012 Democratic National Convention. And Bill Clinton obviously has the ethos, right? People know him, and especially in that auditorium, not auditorium, in that arena. 100% of the people knew him. But Bill Clinton doesn't take a chance. He knows that he has to be likable. If he's not likable, they're not going to listen to his speech, which went on for 45 minutes. So he starts his speech by saying, I'm here to nominate a man. I'm here to nominate a president. Obviously, he's referring to Barack Obama. And then he goes into this stylistic technique known as an afra, like, I want a man, dot, dot, dot. These are all the things that he has accomplished. So he's basically going through each one of them. I want a man who has taken the economy when it was down, has now created jobs, he's done this, he's done this. And then he does something very clever. I call this the anaphra plus. But it's not a fourth anaphra like something related to Obama's achievement. It was something very personal. He says this: I want a man who had the good sense of marrying Michelle Obama. And the reason I just love that is that he suddenly becomes likable. People like, wow, he just noticed something that was so obvious, but he said it. And you have to find something like that in the beginning of your speech. Because if you don't do it right in the beginning, it's too late. You can't wait till the end. It's too late. You gotta get it out in the beginning. You gotta show them that you are likable, they can trust you, so that they want to listen to you. If you don't do that, you could be missing a big opportunity. So next time when you have to give a speech, don't get intimidated and saying, oh man, my speech is gonna bomb because nobody knows me. That's fine. So you gotta do it. You gotta introduce yourself, right? If they don't know you, you're gonna have to introduce yourself. That's your opportunity. And even if they know you, you still have to be likable, no matter what. So let me know what you think, whether you agree that the speech should be organized in that manner. Likability has to be taken care of quickly. The trust has to be established very quickly in the beginning of the speech, and then you can go on with the rest of your speech. And if you do that, I think your audience is going to like you and will listen to your speech. Let me know what you think. Thank you.